Hi, welcome back to the Political Beat at lfpress.com. I'm Pat, this is Chip. We cover City Hall for the London Free Press and lfpress.com. Back again to spread our personalities around with a Q-tip. There's a few things going on this week, Chip. Sort of slowed down, you know, the dog days of summer, that sort of thing. I was particularly interested in the news that Fanshawe College has purchased the Market Tower building at Dundas and Richmond.
Yes.
And that'll be the second of two buildings that'll form a $45 million downtown campus. 1,000 students in total in Market Tower and in that building that's sort of closer to the Budweiser Gardens that they're already renovating on Dundas.
The old Royal Trust building, yes.
Is that what that was, Royal Trust? Your thoughts on that?
The fact it's a Royal Trust building?
No, the fact that they're buying the Market Tower from Shmuel.
Well, it's sort of a win-win for Shmuel Farhi, the landlord. Not only does he own Market Tower, but he owns the building that Fanshawe is already in. And then where are the displaced City Hall people going from the Market Tower building? They're going over to the Bell building, except for another Shmuel Farhi building.
Correct, except for the Ontario Works / welfare offices, because those are being decentralized.
True.
So, but yes,
so it's a win-win-win for London's largest downtown landlord.
Except his modus operandi is to buy buildings and hold on to them, not to sell them. So he is actually selling them, which is not usually what he does.
He's breaking the mold too. He's also building something, a pharmacy up on Oxford Street. So
right. Okay, so
he's changing with the times.
That's the smooth thing. But what do you think about the impact on downtown that this could have?
Well, I think it's good. You got a bunch of young people that are going to be down there. It's going to be vibrant. A lot of the shops are going to benefit from that. Some of the people that are problematic for some of the merchants down there will be moving on to elsewhere. And
will they be?
Well, we think so. Is there not a decentralization plan in terms of Ontario Works and some of the satellite centers?
Yes, but I'm going to stop you right there, because this is something that sort of frustrates me. I spend a lot of time in that area, and particularly at that intersection, and I was there on Sunday at noon. So that Ontario Works office had been closed for 36 hours at that point. And I can tell you that the people who would freak your grandmother out or my grandmother out were standing outside of that building. I think to lay the blame at the feet of the welfare clients is really oversimplified. I'm not saying it's totally inaccurate, but I think it's oversimplified. I really do, and I think I will use a not very nice term, there's some dirtbags downtown, and they have nothing to do with the Ontario Works office, and I'm not sure that they're going to move on. But I will say this, I think that this is amazing. This is an amazing thing for downtown, in my opinion, because the vibrancy that college kids brings is a lot different than a call center or an insurance office or whatever, right? I mean, the nature of the tenant is so great.
No, really, and I simply said it was the merchants that are going to be welcoming.
No, I understand that, yes.
Okay. Yes, and then one wonders, given the large presence that Fanshawe College is going to have in the core, where's Western?
Well, they're taking $10 million to go back up to their compound in the north end of the city.
Apparently, yes. Yeah. The continuing education will continue at the City Plaza, I understand.
The former Galleria, yeah.
The former Galleria, but one wonders, where Western?
Well, that's what's so interesting about this too. Fanshawe was always the sort of like the second fiddle. Western was the fair-haired child, and I wrote a column about this week.
An excellent one, by the way.
Oh, thanks. I thought so. And so here's Fanshawe. Yeah, that's right. Here Fanshawe is. They're really weaving themselves into the city's consciousness, I think, through doing this sort of thing. And I would also argue that this idea that London has a really terrible downtown is sort of a myth. London has a problem at Dundas and Richmond, but if you look at the rest of the downtown, not doing too bad. So if this could possibly inject some real vibrancy and real positivity into that particular cross street, I see so many benefits. I'm so happy
as the mayor would say, this is another fantastic opportunity for the city.
It is great. It is so great. And so that's really great news, and it's nice to be able to talk about something that I think is...
But I think you're right. Vibrancy is the key. It's going to change and add a real dynamic element to the core.
It's not the same as moving in a call center or something, because that would be great, because it's jobs and all that. But this is something very, very different. And young people, if you're at a college campus or a university campus, there's a sort of an energy there. So so thumbs up to Fanshawe. That is just the best. And okay, another issue. Two issues came up this week regarding pictures. We'll start with the first one. The London police released a photograph, and I believe it was post-embalming. I'm not sure of that, but it certainly looked like it, of a dead body's face, trying to identify the guy. This guy had been pulled out of the river. He drowned. Ian Gillespie wrote a column that this was a step too far by the police. We didn't publish the photo because we don't publish photos of dead bodies, generally speaking. I'm proud of us for doing that. I think other media that published it should really rethink their policies, or at least how they handle that particular issue. Your thoughts on the police releasing a photo of a dead body to help identify the guy?
Oh, that's a tough call. What if it had been a suicide? We don't publish suicide.
No, but I'm talking about the police.
No, but that's true too.
So there's two components to it. There's the police reporting it, and then there's the media reprinting it.
I'm not comfortable with it, quite frankly, but on the other hand, this was an out-of-town person, as I understand it, not known by anyone locally. They were simply trying to get an identification on this person as part of their investigation. I can see the police motivation behind it, but I just wonder about it. It's
and I wonder if maybe you could have got a sketch artist to maybe...
A sketch artist,
you know what I mean?
Yes, another way to do it would have been preferable.
That being said, I think the police made a mistake there, but I think they did it for the right reason. They were trying to identify the guy, but I think there were maybe other ways to go about it. But there's another component to that to this dynamic, and that's the media that reprinted it. We did not. Our editor Greg said, poor taste, we're not going to do that, and I think that was the right call. I really, really do, and I think that in certain circumstances that you think about, the Paul Watson photo from Mogadishu, the U.S. soldier getting dragged through the streets by the Somalian citizens. That's a dead body photo that was published by the Toronto Star, won a Pulitzer Prize. That is a different scenario. That's a news event. That's not just pure gore. Generally speaking, you don't run pictures of a dead body. And I wonder if you have a perspective on why you don't do that.
Well, quite frankly, there's enough blood and guts and gore on television and radio and in newspapers anyway. Why do you want to add to it as the local paper? It just adds to people's desensitization, and quite frankly, people tune out.
But do you agree that that's a good rule of thumb?
I agree.
It's a dead body, don't run it.
I agree.
And I think so too. And if you got... you could make the argument that, well, they were trying to identify the guy and the media tried to help him. Then, well, some media ran pictures from 100 yards away of the dead body on the shore, and I just thought, what is going on here? I mean, is there no sober second thought in that newsroom or editorially to say, maybe this is a little bit dehumanizing this guy?
This may be one-upmanship on the part of certain members of the media. I don't know.
Yeah. So long story short, I don't really have a problem with what the police did. I think they screwed up, but they did it. It was an honest mistake. But in terms of the press, we're supposed to know better, I think. And we knew better, and I think that it's a little reminder, right? You make a mistake sometimes. It's a reminder that you got to be a little more sensitive sometimes to, the humanity, right? When in doubt, do the human thing.
Yep.
Don't run the picture. You have a story that you're working on, Chip, about wind, and I think it's supposed to run on in Saturday's Free Press.
I thought we were still talking about pictures.
Oh yeah, there is another picture. Of course, the other part of the picture was the photo that Derek Rattan took on Wednesday at a concussion symposium of acting Mayor Dale Henderson. So the Mayor Fontana's out of the city, and there's a cycle of everybody who gets it. So Mayor Henderson is and you'll see the picture here. Mayor Henderson
is mayor for Wednesday and Thursday. While Mayor Fontana's out of town.
Out of town.
It's the rotation, and it's just his time to do it.
It's his time to do it, and it appears to be very tiring work because he. Derek's photograph strongly suggests that, and Derek says that this is the case. This is National Newspaper Award-winning photographer Derek Rattan, by the way. This isn't some guy who just walked in off the street. That Henderson fell asleep at this event, and I wonder what you thought of that photo. It's a good photo.
Yeah, it's an excellent photo. Quite frankly, I was a little concerned about Mayor Henderson, Dale Henderson, as mayor for 2 days. He always has a list of things he wants to accomplish, and quite frankly, I was worried that we might have some really innovative thinking and some new thinking, and
get some jobs in town,
or declare war on St. Thomas, or instant jobs, or something like that. I mean, he's a man with lots and lots of ideas, and I was a little concerned, quite frankly, what was going to happen in these 2 days. So apparently, the work is rather tiring, and he's a man of great ideas, and I think he probably just wanted to recharge a little bit there.
But is it? Are we again?
Now, should we have run that picture?
That picture's pretty good. That's a pretty good picture. You're one of 15 members of council. You're the acting mayor.
Yes.
You're the big wheel.
And
you wanted the job.
And you're out at a public.
And you're at a public event, and you conk out. Sorry.
But on the other hand, if you did that, what would be the first thing you did if the newspaper took a picture of you and then somebody followed up on it and said you were sleeping? What would be the first thing you'd say?
No, I wasn't.
I wasn't, exactly. And what's happened?
That is indeed what he's saying.
So there you are. It's all understandable.
That's fine. The picture kind of speaks for itself. But I also think, are we getting into a situation where I'm not saying this, I'm wondering, where it's just sort of cheap shot time. It just seems like we're so critical of Henderson. Maybe he deserves it.
Well, there's hardly a day goes by he doesn't take a cheap shot at the media in this city. I mean,
oh, that's true.
That's part of the game, quite frankly. I mean, you know.
Yeah, you want to be
fair play.
Yeah, if you don't want to see it in print, don't do it.
Exactly.
So, okay, you're working on what I'm sure will be an excellent piece for Saturday on wind. And you can read it at lfpress.com.
It's turbine wind. It's not the other sorts. Basically, a growing number of municipalities have decided that they are declaring themselves not willing hosts for these turbines. The wind power, we have about 1,200 turbines in Ontario and all these wind farms, or wind projects as the opponents like to call them, rather than wind farms, because they say they're not agricultural. At any rate, there's a growing list of municipalities, about 60 of them now, that have said we do not want any more turbines, or we don't want any turbines at all. Some already have some. In fact, there's a group of them getting together next week at the Association of Municipalities of Ontario meeting, and they're trying to mobilize to try to become a political force to basically say no more turbines. We're worried about property values, we're worried about health and safety of our citizens, and quite frankly, put them someplace else. Interestingly enough, there's 444 municipalities in Ontario, but apparently only 90 of them are places that would be candidates for turbines, and here we have 2/3 of the 90 saying no. So one wonders about the future of turbines, or will this movement go nowhere, and will this whole thing blow over?
But isn't the sort of like Dalton McGuinty's green energy plan, isn't it built on turbines?
Yep.
So now local opposition could derail.
Well, yes, and the test of what's going to happen is the province going to live up to this business about not pushing these on unwilling hosts, as the new Premier Kathleen Wynne has said? Will that in fact happen? There's a lot of business and a lot of money behind the movement to wind power. Look at Samsung and all the jobs at stake. There's an awful lot at stake here, and I think the battle lines are being set, and I think in the next 2 to 3 years, there's another 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 turbines that are one part somewhere in the works. We'll have to see how this is going to play out. It could be very interesting.
I have 2 words to describe this edition of the Political Beat.
Windy?
Boring. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time at lfpress.com.
Take care.